Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is 𝐰𝐚𝐭𝐡, and in this video I want to give you 9 tips of how to make effective decisions. Don't go anywhere and pay attention to the bonus tip. Welcome back, guys. As I said before, I am going to teach you 9 tips of how to make effective decisions in your life. All right, before wasting any time, let's dive right in. Before we do that, actually, if you are new to the channel, welcome. My name is 𝐰𝐚𝐭𝐡, and thanks for joining us today. And we would like you to be a part of our community. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like this video if you think you got any benefits from it, which I'm sure you will, and leave your comments below whether you have any questions, any suggestions, any improvements, anything else that you would like to get to me. As humans, it's very important that we make good decisions that's going to impact our future, that's going to impact the people around us, and that's why it's very crucial to make decisions that is going to affect us positively. Because I'm sure none of us want to be one of those guys who make decisions when they are in very bad state. They decide something based on their emotions. This could be really traumatic. This really could result in a very bad consequences. Tip number 1 when making a decision is that you don't want to make any big decisions when you are upset. Because as humans, when we are upset, we're not really processing things right. We are very angry. We are in not the best situation to be making decisions, and that's why you have to disengage yourself from that situation. Don't make any significant big decisions that is going to impact your life or is going to impact other people's life. And the best thing you need to do at that time is just take a breather and disengage yourself from that situation and go and just wait for a couple hours or a couple days until you're very cool, calm, and collective. Tip number 2 when making decisions is that it is okay not to decide anything. Not deciding anything itself is making a decision, and a lot of people think that we have to decide something, it depends on the situation, but it is okay sometimes not to make any decisions. It is totally acceptable for you to wait overnight and not to decide anything spontaneously. Of course, you need to use your judgment. For example, if you are a CEO of a company and you need to make a $1 million decision, of course, you have to take it slow and you have to think of the consequences. You have to think of the outcome. You have to really consult your co-workers. You have to talk to other people. It all varies, But if you're making a decision on buying 3 laptops, that's gonna cost you maybe around $3,000. It's okay to go ahead and make a quick decision and decide that and give the call. So it all depends on the situation, because sometimes you have to decide things fast and sometimes you have to decide things slow. Which brings us to tip number 3, which is speeding up on certain things and slowing down on certain things. Because certain decisions, very small, we don't want to spend a lot of time thinking about the small decisions. Rather, we have to spend all that time thinking about the big decisions that we need to make. So we don't want to drain our energy on the little things. We have to spare it and keep it for the big things. It is very crucial that we remember whenever we decide something not to be biased. We have to be as honest as possible, as fair as possible, as ethical as possible, and make the decisions with the best of our ability. Tip number 4 when making a decision is that you have to collect all the data, do research, and gather all the information. I mean, it's okay to decide certain things sometimes, but if you have, it depends on your position, it depends on the situation, and it depends on what responsibility you have. Whenever deciding something, always do research, always analyze, and always gather data, because this will give you the opportunity to look at the evidence, to analyze the evidence, and weigh the outcome. I see a lot of people get crippled by their options, and that's why tip number 5 is don't get crippled with your options, because sometimes we need to decide something but we have a lot of different options, so we just sit there and become paralyzed. We don't know which way to go and we don't know where to start. In this situation, you need to consider if it's not going to cost you a lot of money, if it's not going to be a very severe consequences, then don't get crippled. Go ahead, make the decision, give the call, and go with your instinct. Tip number 6 of how to make effective decision is that you always have to consider the alternatives. I mean, when deciding something, you have to look at what other options do you have. This is very close, is very related to the last tip that we talked about. Don't get crippled by your options. At the same time, you have to look, analyze, and look at the other options, because you don't want to make a decision that you will regret later on, or when you go home or next day you will regret it. You don't want to do that. That's why it's very crucial for you to analyze and look at the alternatives. Ask yourself, why am I not going with option B instead of option 1, or vice versa? That's why it's very important also to write down and weigh the consequences. It's never a bad idea to write the T-chart. Write the T-chart and compare the negatives with the positives of that decision that you need to make. Tip number 7 is that whenever you make a decision, you have to consider the law. Do not break any law when making decision, because you don't want to get in trouble with the law. I mean, this is so obvious, and I'm sure that you're probably saying, Zakaria, why are you stating the obvious? Guess what? There are a lot of people that who miss this tip and go ahead and make decisions that's gonna cost them or cost their company a lot of legal problems. And that's why I need to warn you. I mean, this is warning. Whenever making a decisions, do not break the law. Do not break the rules or the policy of the company. Tip number 8, whenever you're making a decision, you have to consider what kind of decision are you making. Are you making a programmed decision or a non-programmed decision? A programmed decision is basically a problem that occurs all the time. I mean, a perfect example of this will be a restaurant. Most of the restaurants, they receive a lot of complaints from customers, different complaints, so they kind of used to this and they deal with it on regular basis. This is called programmed decisions, which means that they know exactly what to do to kind of rectify and fix the situation. On the other hand, non-programmed decision is exactly the opposite, which means a problem that doesn't happen that often. For example, in 2005, McDonald's found out that some of their Happy Meals contain very fat and unhealthy food, like the French fries and other stuff. So what they did is that they replaced the French fries with healthy food, like fruits, sliced apples, because they knew that the unhealthy food is going to cause a lot of health problems in the long run. That's why they changed this. They changed the menu in the Happy Meal and changed the French fries to sliced apples. This is called non-programmed decision, which means it doesn't happen often. Tip number 9 is that whenever you have to make a decision, consider the feedback and the input of your co-workers, your peers, your friends, and family members. Talk to somebody who you feel confident with. Talk to somebody who you trust and tell them, hey, I want to do this. I want to decide this. I want to make this decision. What do you think? Because other people's experience, knowledge, and wisdom is going to benefit you and will impact and will help you decide and make better decisions. So what do you think of the video so far? I really would love to hear from you. That's why it's very important for me to read your comments. So go ahead and leave a comment real quick before we jump in the bonus tip. And the bonus tip I have for you is that whenever you're making a decision, this can be tip number 10 or a bonus tip, it doesn't really matter, but whenever you are making a significant decision, put your ego aside. Don't let your ego play a part in making a decision, because this will result in making a bad decision or a negative decision that you will regret later on. And that's why it's very important to do a complete review before you make any decision. After talking to your peers, co-workers, and other people, it would help you make a decision that is ethical, that doesn't break the law, and that's going to benefit you and benefit other people around you. That's it for this video. In this video, we talked about how to make effective decisions, because the decision-making process can be really tedious and a very difficult one. Also, if you want to learn of how to be more productive in your life, make sure you click on this video. That's it for this one. We'll see you on the next video. Take care.